his health.
An Atlantic City grand jury charged Ray Rice with felony aggravated assault in the third degree, causing bodily injury, and 1 count of simple assault. But the district attorney, James McClain, allowed Ray Rice to enter into New Jersey's pre-trial intervention program, PTI, as it's commonly called. If Ray Rice completes the 12-month program and does not commit another offense, Ray Rice's record will then be wiped clean with absolutely no record of a conviction. A new investigation by ESPN's Outside the Lines found the pre-trial intervention program offered to Ray Rice in the assault case involving his wife was granted in less than 1% of all domestic violence assault cases that were resolved. A spokesperson for the Office of Atlantic County Prosecutor, James McClain, told ESPN Mr. Rice received the same treatment in the court system that any first-time offender in similar circumstances has received. Joining me now is Karen DeSoto, a former defense attorney and prosecutor in New Jersey. Karen, that's a standard statement that James McClain's been giving out from the start. It's like he got exactly what everybody else gets. Now we find out 99% of them don't get that deal.
Right. And we talked about this last week, Lawrence, that it's very rare. And one of the reasons why it's rare, because PTI is not available for violent crimes. And this is considered a violent crime.
Is considered a violent crime.
Yes.
This district attorney watched a video of Ray Rice punching and knocking out his then fiancée, now wife.
And I can tell you that when I was a prosecutor, we had a directive and we did not dismiss these cases. So yes, it is very highly unlikely, and I would be surprised as a defense attorney if I applied for PTI and I got it in this particular circumstance, especially since he's an athlete, especially since it was aggravated assault, not just regular assault. And the videotape makes it very clear, which is something as a prosecutor you don't have. But I can tell you, as a directive, you don't dismiss them at all in domestic violence cases. You have a separate unit for that. They're taken very seriously. So this is a 1%, and this was a gift.
Now, some people have tried to suggest that James McClain might have some trouble prosecuting this case if Ray Rice's wife refused to testify against him.
Yes,
and you've got a videotape.
You have a videotape in New Jersey. You have to corroborate the videotape, so you would put her on the stand. But I can tell you that I've put women on the stand that did not want to testify and who did lie. But this, again, is a directive that you have to take as a prosecutor. You have to do one or the other. You either have to dismiss the case or you have to go forward. And a lot of times the judge doesn't want to dismiss these cases because it's domestic violence, because there's a policy that you don't dismiss. These are serious charges, and you have to make a choice as a prosecutor to do it. I wouldn't have done it as a prosecutor. I think a lot of prosecutors wouldn't have. And yeah, she might have made a terrible witness. And in cases, you use police officers, you use other corroborating witnesses, and if she gets on the stand and lies, then she gets on the stand and lies.
What do we know about the kind of political pressure that can come to the Atlantic County prosecutor, the district attorney in a situation like this?
Well, I can tell you if you're
these DAs, to my surprise, are appointed by the governor of New Jersey.
Correct. I think that there's probably a lot more corruption in places where the district attorneys are elected, as we had in the Duke rape case, we have in Florida. I think there's probably more corruption with elections and money as there is in appointments. But is there pressure directly? I mean, that depends on the case. I mean, if he's looking to do something political, but one of the great things about New Jersey is that it is appointed and you don't have to worry about elections and money, the political pressure.
But it also means there's nothing that the county voters can do about this guy except when they vote for governor, and no one's thinking about DAs when they're voting for governor.
Well, the senator from that area does get a say-so in who becomes the county. So there are phone calls, and there is, senators who do take it very seriously, the county prosecutor, and they do weigh in.
And he could not be luckier that there's so much, James McClain, I want to keep saying his name, could not be luckier that there's so much focus on Roger Goodell in the NFL, because that's the heat shield that is taking the heat off him, and he had the first responsibility to deal with this long before it was Roger Goodell's matter.
Yes, I mean, listen, they're two different things, but at the end of the day, they're probably going to point fingers at each other, meaning that the NFL is going to say, well, the prosecutor had this, and they said this.
That's Goodell. That's their big thing is, hey, the prosecutor saw the video, saw nothing wrong with it. Let Ray go.
Look, he got PTI, so obviously you're going to use that. I mean, remember, the NFL, these are assets that they're trying to protect. So it puts them in a very awkward position, having to protect a player, but yet also discipline them. So that's not unusual. But of course, you're going to lay blame somewhere else because nobody is going to want to take the political heat and the controversy that's come out of this case.
Karen DeSoto, thank you very much for joining us tonight.